Hey, what's going on? I'm Matt O'Leary back with another video, and today we're going to be talking about the inside linebackers and my expectations for them in the 2020 season. But before we get started, I just wanted to mention that you can follow me on social media at Matt O'Leary NY. Also, if you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe to the podcast. New episodes drop every Monday. On top of that, we have some even more fun stuff going on the channel. Patreon.com/Matt O'Leary NY gets you exclusive New York Jets content. We're doing articles, we're doing podcasts, we're doing video, Q&As, a ton of stuff going on over there. So if you're interested, check out the link in the bio, in the description. Definitely worthwhile to check out. Also, promo code JETS20 gets you 20% off at manscaped.com. Check out all their offers over there. Get yourself some free shipping and some 20% off discount courtesy of me. I wouldn't recommend the product if I didn't believe in it, so definitely check it out. 20% off. Get yourself something nice. All right, so let's talk inside linebackers. The first one that I want to talk about, Avery Williamson. He missed all of last year after playing 2018 with the New York Jets, and he was solid in 2018 with the New York Jets. He tore his ACL in the preseason in a game he had no business being in at that part. Do you want to put it on Adam Gase? Do you want to put it on Greg Williams? Regardless, he didn't play at all in 2018, so he is going to play a huge factor for the New York Jets in 2019. He didn't play in 2019. He's going to play a huge factor for the New York Jets in 2020 because CJ Mosley opted out this year. In 2018, the last time he played, he had a really good year. 120 tackles, 6 tackles for a loss, 3 sacks, an interception, and this I really found interesting. He played 100% of the defensive snaps. He didn't miss a single play on the defensive side of the ball. That's how important he was to that New York Jets defense. I think people are sleeping on him a little bit. I'm really excited to see him back on the field. He had a 72.8 Pro Football Focus grade that year, and if I'm predicting what he's going to do this year, I think he hits 100 tackles. I'm going to say 105 tackles, 5 of them for a loss, 2.5 sacks, 0 interceptions. I don't think he's going to play 100% of the snaps because I don't think he's going to have to, but I'll say 85, which is still a really high amount of snaps for Avery Williamson. I think the Jets mix up their inside linebackers a little bit because they have some pretty good depth at this position, but I think he's going to play a huge role. If you're playing 85% of the snaps, you're doing something right, especially at inside linebacker. I'm excited to see what Avery Williamson can do this year for the Jets. So who do I think is going to start on the other side? I'm going to guess Neville Hewitt to start. He played a big role for the New York Jets last year. He started 12 games, had 75 tackles, 6 of which were for a loss, 3 sacks, 2 interceptions, and played 69% of defensive snaps. Pro Football Focus grade, not great, 40.4. I think he's going to have a similar season. 67 tackles, 4 of which are going to be for a loss, 2 sacks, 1 interception, 72% of snaps. I think we're going to really see a rotation on the other side. Neville Hewitt, again, probably is going to get a little bit more to start with because he started 12 games last year. So expect him to be playing along with Avery Williamson at inside linebacker. Next up is Patrick Onwuasor. He started 6 games last year in Baltimore. They brought him in. He used to be CJ Mosley's running mate in Baltimore a few years ago, but kind of had a down year after a little bit. 64 tackles, 5 for a loss, 3 sacks, 0 interception, 48% of plays. He had a 48.3 Pro Football Focus grade, and obviously really not a great year to close out his career with the Baltimore Ravens. This year, I think he'll have 45 tackles, 2 of which for a loss, 2 sacks, 0 ints, and play, I don't know, let's say 39% of defensive snaps. I think it comes down a little bit. I don't think they're going to rely on him all that much. I think Neville Hewitt's going to get a majority of the reps, and some other guys on this list are going to get some more playing time over Patrick Onwuasor, but not bad depth. He has starting experience, so don't hate the signing. Next up is Blake Cashman, who started 5 games for the Jets last year, had 40 tackles, 3 of which were for a loss, a half a sack, 0 interceptions, 39% of defensive snaps, had a 49.1 Pro Football Focus grade. I think a lot of people are higher on him than I am. I think he's okay depth, but I don't think he's going to be much more than that. A lot of people really want this guy to start. I don't think he's there yet as a former 5th-round pick. He's banged up in his college career. He was banged up last year. I think he has 38 tackles, 4 of which are going to be for a loss, 1 sack, no interceptions in play, 41% of defensive snaps. He'll play a little bit, but I don't expect him to take a significant leap forward. I think it's similar production to what we saw last year. Last guy on my list is James Burgess, who I want to talk about. I thought he played pretty well for the New York Jets last year. He had 10 starts, 80 tackles, 8 tackles for a loss, 1 interception, 60% of snaps. He had a 54.9 Pro Football Focus grade. I don't think he's going to play as much this year because I think they're going to use more of a rotation on that other side. So I'm going to say 51 tackles, 2 sacks, 3 tackles for a loss, 0 interceptions, and 45% of defensive snaps. I probably like him the best. I don't know if the Jets do, out of all the other options to play next to Avery Williamson. I again think I would play him over Neville Hewitt, but I feel like the Jets favor Neville Hewitt and Blake Cashman over James Burgess. I personally wouldn't. I think Burgess was a nice fill-in piece for this team last year. I like him a little bit more so, but if he is your, at this point, fifth guy down on the depth chart, you're in pretty good shape. I think the Jets have good depth at this position. They obviously could be one injury away from one of those guys playing that I mentioned towards the end of my list. But if they need to, I think they can get by with their inside linebacking core. Again, they have really good depth at this position. It's not a position that I'm worried about. I think they'll be pretty productive this year. So let me know what you think about the position down in the comments below. You get at me on social media at Matt O'Leary NY. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and I'll talk to you next time.